Hi everyone, today I'll be doing an informative speech. This speech is to inform you guys of how ABA is used with children in autism. Applied behavioral analysis, also known as ABA, is a scientific discipline concerned with applying techniques based upon the principles of learning to change behavior of social significance. 1 in 68 children will be diagnosed with the autism spectrum disorder, or abbreviated as ASD. That is 1 in 42 boys and 1 in 189 girls. Autism is more prominent in boys than in girls. The American Board of Pediatrics will only start diagnosing at 18 months of age in a child, but symptoms show as early as 6 months. Autism is a developmental disability that affects, often severely, a person's ability to communicate and socially interact with others. The awareness and the show of more studies will probably double the number in cases, but at the same time, ASD is misdiagnosed a lot of times. My son, who is 5 years old, is considered a high-functioning autistic child. It is important that we are educated in knowing the signs and what to look for in ASD. We also need to know how ASD is treated with ABA and what programs are available. There are many layers to autism, and that's why it's called on a spectrum. I started to see signs in my son around 9 months where he wasn't meeting his milestones. As a mother of a child with autism who was diagnosed at 18 months of age, I know the system extensionally. I also know how ABA has changed the lifestyle of my son and has progressed his social goals. Applied behavioral analysis, or ABA, is the use of techniques and principles to bring about meaningful and positive change in behavior. Today I will discuss how ABA is applied and the goals that are set in the analysis. There is a difference between ASD and what is a delay in a child. When diagnosed with ASD, I will present factual information about ABA therapy and how it's beneficial to a child with autism. ABA consists of 3 major branches of study: behaviorism, basic research of the experimental analysis of behavior, and applied behavior analysis of the development of a technology for improving behavior. The name applied behavior analysis has replaced the term behavior modification, once used before more research was done. ABA consists of radical behaviorism, treating thoughts, emotions, and other covert cognitive activity. It is treating it as behavior that is subject to the same rules as observable responses. B.F. Skinner's classification system of behavior analysis has been applied to a treatment of a host of communication disorders. Tactile psychology is a verbal response evoked by a nonverbal antecedent and maintained by generalized condition reinforcement. Manding is a physiological behavior under control of motivating operations maintained by a characteristic reinforcer. Intraverbals is a verbal behavior for which the relevant antecedent stimulus was other verbal behavior but which does not share the response topography of the prior verbal stimulus. For example, responding to another speaker's question. Speech pathologists are almost always part of a team of professionals who treat these individuals. When measuring behavior, there are both dimensions of behavior and quantifiable measures of behavior. In applied behavior analysis, the quantifiable measures are derivative of the dimensions. These dimensions are repeatedly temporal extent and temporal locus. Repeatedly means responses classes occur repeatedly throughout time. For example, how many times the behavior occurs. Count is the number of occurrences in behavior. The rate and frequency is the number of instances of behavior per unit of time. Acceleration is the measure of how the rate changes over time. Temporal extent, this dimension indicates that each instant of behavior occupies some amount of time. For example, how long the behavior occurs. Duration is the amount of time in which the behavior occurs. Temporal locus, each instance of behavior occurs at a specific point in time. of a stimulus and the initiation of a response. Inner response time is the amount of time that occurs between two consecutive instances of a response class. ABA-based techniques are so often used to change behaviors associated with autism that ABA itself is often mistakenly considered to be synonymous with therapy for autism. ABA is also used in adults with ASD. ABA is usually one-on-one trial-based therapy used with different techniques to help child gain social goals, speech-language goals, cognitive behavior skills, and sensory integration skills. A 2000 clinical report of the American Academy of Pediatrics concluded that the benefit of ABA-based intervention in the autism spectrum disorder has well been documented, and that children who receive early intensive behavioral treatment have been shown to make substantial, sustained gains in IQ, language, academic performance, and adaptive behavior, as well as some measures of social behavior.